This is the core tent for family camping, the 10-person cabin I've been taking on car camping trips over the last season. My first impression wasn't subtle. It's big, tall, and feels like an actual room you can live in, not just sleep in. The nearly straight walls make it look like a tiny house more than a tent. And that changes everything about how you move and organize gear inside. What you see is a rectangular footprint of 14 by 10 feet with an 86-inch center height. I'm 6 feet tall and can stand upright away from the center, which is rare. The straight wall cabin style means you can push cots or queen airbeds right up against the sides without losing headroom. The ceiling is mostly mesh, which gives you that open, airy feeling and a great stargazing view when the fly is off. There are 2 doors, a handful of windows with zippered privacy panels, and lower adjustable vents that pull cooler air from the ground while hot air escapes up top. The orange color is easy to spot at a crowded campground, and the layout feels friendly and simple. Packed down, the bag is a stout duffel, roughly 28.5 by 11.5 by 11 inches, and the whole thing is around 31 to 32 pounds. It's strictly car camping territory. The structure uses steel for the vertical support and flexible poles for the roof, which keeps it feeling sturdy once it's properly tensioned. One quick note on terms, especially if you're new. The rainfly is the outer waterproof cover, and a vestibule is the sheltered porch space some full coverage flies create. This version is the standard partial coverage fly, not the full rainfly with a big vestibule. From my experience, setup on this standard straight wall model is a true 2-person job if you want it done smoothly. I can assemble it solo in a pinch, but hoisting the roof and throwing the fly over an 86-inch peak by myself is a workout. With 2 people, I average about 10 to 12 minutes, and takedown is faster. A small tip I learned quickly: open the doors and windows when packing so it doesn't trap air like a balloon. The carry bag is snug, so a tight roll matters. Inside, the space is the win. I run 2 queen airbeds with a walkway in the middle, or a queen plus 2 cots with room for duffels. That 10-person occupancy is fantasy, unless you're lining up sleeping bags with almost no gear. For real camping with cots and totes, it's perfect for a family of 4 to 6. The included room divider is nice in theory, but thin and see-through. I use it to split kid stuff from adult gear, not for real privacy. Weather-wise, I tested it across light rain, a couple of breezy nights, and 1 heavier storm. In light, steady rain for about an hour, I stayed fully dry. When the rain turned moderate and lasted, the weak points showed up. Water will push through the door zippers and the seams near the lower vents if the fly isn't covering enough and the wind shifts the rain sideways. The H2O Block fabric at 1200 millimeters is fine. The design of the partial fly is the limitation. After that trip, I seam sealed the lower seams and hit the zippers with a water repellent, which helped. For wind, the tall walls can catch gusts, so I always deploy all guylines and use the steel stakes. Staked smart, it holds up very well. Lazy staking makes it feel floppy and sketchy. I've had 1 small quality hiccup. 1 steel pole had a rough burr that made the joint sticky the first time. I sanded it lightly and it's been fine since. I've also seen a split in a roof pole on a friend's older unit, so I bring a small repair sleeve just in case. The zippers glide well when the doors are tensioned correctly, but they can snag on the flap if you rush. I lock the main door poles with a tiny carabiner at night so clever pets don't let themselves out. Key features that matter most to me ended up shaping how I camp with it. The nearly straight walls and 86-inch peak height open up the living space in a way dome tents can't touch. The high-low ventilation works as advertised. Lower ground vents feed cool air, and the mesh roof dumps heat, which cuts down on condensation. The 2-door layout keeps traffic flowing, especially when one side becomes the muddy boots door. The gear loft and storage pockets keep headlamps, keys and chargers off the floor, and the E-port is simple but useful when I run an extension cord from a power station. The floor is a bathtub-style polyethylene that's tough and easy to wipe clean. I throw a simple footprint or tarp underneath to keep it from getting scuffed. From my experience, the livable space is the reason to buy this. It feels like a small cabin, not a cramped shelter. In my opinion, that's the core value of this tent line. The ventilation design is the second highlight. On warm nights with the fly off, the mesh roof delivers great airflow and a clear sky view. With the fly on, the lower vents still work and keep the interior from getting stuffy. The two doors give it a home-like flow. No crawling over people to get out at night. I also value the simple, reliable bits. Steel stakes that aren't throwaways, a room divider that at least lets me zone the interior, and a bag that, while snug, actually fits when I roll the tent right. I do have clear caveats. The standard partial rainfly is the limiting factor in prolonged wind-driven rain. It's fine for light moisture and quick showers, but if your forecast looks rough, I'd recommend either stepping up to the full rainfly version or bringing extra seam sealer and a tarp strategy. The divider is not real privacy, just a curtain. And while setup is straightforward, this non-instant frame is best with two people. If you camp solo often, the instant model with pre-attached poles is easier to pop up, though it still needs guying and fly work to be truly ready. It's perfect for family car camping in spring through fall, where you want space to stand, change, and hang out during a surprise drizzle. It's also great for groups who value a clean interior layout with room for two queens, and for campers who prioritize ventilation and organization. If you camp in wet, stormy areas, or you'll face multi-hour rain, I'd go full rainfly or be diligent about weatherproofing and site selection. In conclusion, this tent delivers big time on livability and comfort, which is what most family campers actually feel day to day. The trade-off is that the partial fly puts a ceiling on heavy weather performance unless you add some prep. I'd recommend this for families of 4 to 6, couples who want extra space to spread out, and anyone who wants a stand-up cabin with smart airflow and simple storage. If weight and bulk are a concern, or if you expect harsh storms, consider the full rainfly variant or look at smaller footprints. For me, the space and ventilation make it a keeper for fair to moderate conditions, and that's where it shines. You can view detailed information about the core tent for family camping in the comments section. Thank you for watching.